Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Dual Destinies. Previously, we finished the game's fourth case, and what a bombshell ending it was. We managed to prove our defendant not guilty, but in the process, the actual murderer was implicated to be none other than Athena Sykes, so that's pretty bad. Clearly she didn't do it, right? So it's always a surreal feeling to approach the end of an Ace Attorney game, but that feeling is only intensifying because after this, I'll only have one more game to go before I'm caught up. I've been on this journey for years. I don't know what to do with myself when this journey is over. At any rate, let's begin, shall we? Episode 5, Turnabout for Tomorrow. That's a good name. No one can escape their past. I knew it. I knew we'd be coming back to this scene. What does it mean? What happened? Who died? Katana? The sins we've committed, and the sadness we've caused. No matter how far we run, our past remains, as ever present as the moon in the sky. It looms in wait for the day when we are forced to face it. But only in doing so can we truly make peace and move on in a hope towards tomorrow. Oh, I'm hyped. I'm really hyped. They took Athena from the courtroom, straight to the station. She's probably being questioned at this very moment. After this past year, I took it for granted that those two would always be here. But now, Apollo has gone off on his own to seek his own truth. And my pursuit of the truth only ended up with Athena becoming the new suspect. Some boss I turned out to be. It's even quieter in here than usual. Yeah, it seems so empty too. I just don't get it, Daddy. All of your reasoning during the trial seemed perfectly solid. Yeah, and I still believe it was, at least based on what we know. But now, Athena's the one who's been accused. During the trial for the bombing and murder that occurred at the Cosmos Space Center, the lighter used by the real culprit was found. This lighter proved the defendant, Solomon Starbuck, innocent. But Athena's prints were found on it instead. And she was subsequently arrested for the murder. But Athena couldn't have done it. It just doesn't make any sense. No, none of it does. I've been racking my brain, but I just can't figure it out. Ugh, there is a flaw in my reasoning. What have I got wrong in this case? You know, Daddy, if Athena was here, she wouldn't just be sitting around thinking. She'd be out there doing something. You are going to defend Athena, right, Daddy? Of course I will. And thanks, Trucy. I needed that push. Trucy's right. The trial is tomorrow. There's no time to waste. If I'm going to prove Athena's innocence, I better get out there and find some evidence. Off we go, then. We're on a hunt for evidence that'll prove Athena's innocence. She's coming with? Yeah! Great, but before we go, I'd better tidy up the evidence I have on hand. Unnecessary evidence left at the office. Athena is probably still in the middle of being questioned. So Trucy's right. The thing to start with is talking to people at the Space Center. Oh man! Trucy's back! That's great. Okay, so we got Clay Terran's autopsy report, the diagram of the center, the knife, the murder weapon, the door, the security footage, the pamphlet, the Hope capsule, Ara's statement, and the lighter, of course. Huh. The lighter in their left hand, knife in their right. So, we can probably discount any left-handed people? Maybe? I don't know. Well, I'm a lawyer. I guess presenting your attorney's badge is like your quick trick, huh, Daddy? Yeah, okay. We saw that. We saw that again. I remember it. Let's talk. What to do? I still can't believe Apollo really left us. It was so sudden. Maybe he got tired of being my assistant for my magic tricks? I don't think it's your fault, Trucy. But I made him clean the toilet a lot. And I made him go to bring in the newspaper. It was my fault, I just know it. Oh, Apollo. Sniffle. I really don't think it was your fault, Trucy. But I didn't realize Apollo was wearing so many hats around here either. How could they suspect Athena? It's just ridiculous. Must be some kind of conspiracy. A conspiracy, huh? Well, it certainly is some kind of mistake, that's for sure. First of all, we have to bust Athena out of the detention center. Then we have to chase down the people who framed her. We'll sneak around the world from Kiev to Carolina. What? With the fuzz on our tails. What? Isn't that exactly the same as the plot of the movie you watched the other day? Oh. Carolina. I don't know. Well, let's move. To the entrance. I guess we have to take this from the top. Director Cosmos, do you have a minute? Galactic scooter! Full speed ahead! Oh, he's gone. Director! He scooted away. His expression changed the instant he saw you, Daddy. Yeah, well, I dragged his name through the mud pretty good at the trial earlier today. Oh, begin the pursuit. Nothing appears different, at least from this angle. We were here only yesterday. Oh, hey. Hey! Mr. Starbuck, you've been released, huh? Yep, and I came straight here. This is all thanks to you and your team, Mr. Wright. You've given me a second chance to fly into space again. I can't thank you enough. Except... What's wrong? I thought he'd be happy to be acquitted. As I was coming out of the detention center, I saw Miss Sykes. He saw Athena. I was at a loss for words. I didn't know what to say to the poor girl. And then, you know what? She flashed a peace sign at me. "Congratulations on your acquittal," she said. "Now you can go back into space someday." Yeah, that sounds like Athena. I can just picture it. But I saw her eyes. They were red and swollen from crying. She's got to be suffering. She must be so worried. And yet she went out of her way to be nice and give me that big smile. She held back her own tears so she could give someone else a smile. That's so Athena. There's no question about it. That girl is innocent. Please, Mr. Wright, you have to make sure she goes free. And then they can put me in prison instead. I don't mind. We can't have that either, Mr. Starbuck. Don't worry, Mr. Starbuck. I'm going to give her the very best defense I can. I promise to get her acquitted, just like I did for you. I know she'll be all right with you in her corner. I know you'll never give up on her. Apollo has a fine boss to look up to. Well, neat. It's good. It's really good to see Starbuck up and about. I'm a lawyer. Nothing to say. Any new thoughts on the footage? No. The murder weapon, perhaps. Okay, you have to have something about the Hope capsule. No? The lighter. Alright. You got nothing. I still can't believe Launchpad 1 was switched with the Space Museum. What could have made Director Cosmos do such a thing? I haven't the foggiest idea. So there never was going to be a launch that day, not from the very beginning. I wonder if Clay knew. I imagine he must have. Surely he would have noticed when he went to board the rocket. It's pathetic to think I was the only one who got taken in. But I guess that's about how it goes when you're worth less than space debris. Is he going to be all right, Daddy? His expression looks as dark as a black hole. Well, that's just how he is. Mr. Starbuck, do you remember anything about the murderer? Not really. I only saw a shadowy figure in the dark after all. Yeah, I guess that was a little too much to hope for. Hey, I heard something from the police, though. They said they never did find a 10-caliber gun down that trash chute. Oh. Oh. Alright. Just as I thought. The culprit must have carried it away with them when they escaped. So was the person you saw holding a gun, Mr. Starbuck? I couldn't really tell. But it wasn't Athena, right? Could you tell if the person was male or female, tall or short? I can't even tell you that much. Man, I'm useless. When the culprit opened the door and some light came in, I should have been able to see. The door. Ah, yes. As I recall, they opened this door here as they made their escape. The door to Launchpad 1, right? Yeah, except right now the door leads to the Space Museum. Oh? They swapped it? You mean the Launchpad and the Space Museum are switched right now? Yeah, they're trying to investigate the theory you came up with in court. Oh, that makes sense. So they're recreating the conditions, huh? I'd like to see what's beyond that door now. Yeah. Mr. Starbuck, could you open this door for us? Sure. Just let me have my print scanned here. Neat. Do the launch pads get switched back and forth a lot? Well, back when the Space Museum was Launchpad 2, I used to switch the pads around at times. But these days, Launchpad 2 is only used as a tourist attraction, right? Right, because quite frankly, the Space Center needs the money. I hear you. Times sure are tough. Daddy, let's go check out what's beyond that door. Sure, let's go. Hey, why don't I come along? I can show you around. That'd be great. Whoa! A fourth angle. Okay. What's this dry, dead leaf doing on the ground? Huh? I wonder what these dead leaves are doing here. Maybe they were stuck to the bottom of somebody's shoes. There are lots of trees around the Space Center. She's right. It's a modern state-of-the-art building, but it's surrounded by trees. But I don't know. If they were stuck to the bottom of somebody's shoes, wouldn't they look more crushed up? These don't look like they've been stepped on. Maybe there's some kind of secret hatch in the corridor, and they came in that way. Not everything is set up like a magician stage, you know. Huh. So this is another one of those devices for opening the door, huh? Yep, but this one doesn't require fingerprint verification. You just hit the button and open sesame. So when you and Clay went through here, you didn't need to show your prints either? That's right, Trucy. Just like how the culprit didn't need to scan their prints when they escaped back out of the Space Museum corridor into Boarding Lounge 2. Well, I don't see anything else that jumps out at me. And I imagine this corridor is built exactly like the Launchpad 1 corridor. Well, thank you, Mr. Starbuck. Any thoughts on the new evidence? No. Well, I guess we'll come back to you later. For now, let's enter the, museum? No? Really? Am I missing something? Hold on. I don't think so. I think I've shown him everything there is to see. Huh. Okay, let's head back to the entrance, maybe. Alright, okay. Urgh! Curse the wretch who sullied my good name! Reverse course and full speed away! Director Cosmos, wait! I'll handle this, Daddy. Take that! Gah! The mobility system has been compromised! Trucy's knife throw was a direct hit to one of his tires. That's scary. And the streak continues. Oh, that's really scary. Oh. Maybe I should have kept a closer watch on what trick she's been practicing. My dear old battleship. We fought many a skirmish together. It has been an honor. Daddy, he's going to blow that thing up. Nah, I bet all that button will do is make it go haywire again. Very well, I surrender. As a prisoner of war, I expect to be treated honorably. Finally, I'm a lawyer. Excuse me, but about this piece of evidence... Nope, nothing new. Hope? Mankind's crowning achievement, the Hat 1 mission, will be in textbooks across the land. Wow, that historic, huh? My achievements are grand enough to rival the very birth of space itself. My life will be a legend that will be told millions of years into the future. You may proceed to admire and praise me now. Ha 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 ha. You certainly are an amazing piece of work. Alright. Alright, I think we've shown all we can. Let's have a chat, you and I. Director Cosmos, when you were talking in court about switching the launch pads, you used your right to remain silent about the reason as to why. I'd like Director Cosmos to tell us why he switched the two launch pads to begin with.
Please, I can't. I exercise my right to remain silent. But I will say my hands were tied. I was only doing what I could to keep my men from getting caught in that blast. The center of the cosmos is shrouded in mystery, but I don't have any secrets left. Now that my battleship has been destroyed and I've been taken prisoner.
Cyclock? 3 of them. No secrets left, huh? I beg to differ. Looks like I'll have to undo his Cyclocks if I want to get to the bottom of this. Let's do just that. I don't think we have anything else to do.
Take that!
Behind the switching of the launch pads. I want you to tell me everything you're hiding about the switching of the 2 launch pads.
I refuse. You can't make me. I can hold out longer than anyone.
I hope I never get like this when I'm old. Now, let's see, where to start. This is how you explained your motive for switching the launch pads. You did it to save the astronauts, to save your men. Thanks to you switching the launch pads, the astronauts escaped injury from the blast. Instead, they safely boarded the museum's rocket, far away from the actual explosion.
My astronauts were raring to go out on an authentic adventure in space. How do you propose I had them board a fake rocket without them noticing?
I agree you couldn't have done it without help. For one, they would have figured it out the instant they stepped into the Space Museum. You figured you could fool Mr. Starbuck once he'd been drugged with his medication, but without the help of this person, it would have been impossible to pull your plan off. Clay was in on this? Really?
Take that!
You must have gotten Mr. Terran to help you. He stole the tranquilizers from his mentor's locker and slipped them to him. And then, with Mr. Starbuck in a daze, they boarded the replica rocket in the museum.
Someone please help this poor prisoner of war.
How was he able to spin around like that? If you really wanted to save the astronauts' lives, shouldn't you have just called off the launch?
If I could have done that, do you think I would have gone to all that trouble?
I guess he must have had a compelling reason why he couldn't call it off. But how did you know to switch the pads in advance of the bombing incident?
Well, that's because I was warned in advance. Once I received that warning, it was my duty to ensure my astronauts' safety.
But it was just a warning. It couldn't even have been a prank. Why did you believe in it so completely?
Because I went to one of those mediums that everyone's talking about these days.
Oh? Oh, I didn't realize channeling was back in vogue. Besides, I thought it was you yourself that got the warning via telephone.
Yes, that's right. The bomber contacted me personally. My battleship is equipped with a special advanced communication system, you see.
AKA a regular old telephone.
It's been a while. Planning another launch? I see you haven't learned. I'll never forget the terror I felt when I received that call.
The bomber said it's been a while. And that was enough to make you take the threat seriously. Perhaps Director Cosmos took the threat so seriously because the Space Center had been involved in a bombing once before. Maybe the culprit in the current case is the same person who was involved in this incident. No, the Hat One miracle. What was that caused by again? Shoot, why was the, Why did the Hat One incident go wrong again? I forget. Was there bombing? I thought the issue was being stranded in space. There was no bombing. Right? So the Hat 2 bombing is this very incident. It doesn't make sense that Director Cosmos recognized the voice from this very bombing. No, it was a previous incident. The courtroom number 4 bombing was the responsibility of Ted Tonate. He's in jail. He couldn't have made the call, or indeed been free to plant more bombs, so it must have been the Hat One miracle by process of elimination. The Hat One miracle, that epic story of survival. People across the nation know it now as a heroic tale of bravery, but in truth it was an act of sabotage perpetrated by our current killer, wasn't it? Very few knew about the previous plot, so when the caller said, "It's been a while," you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that the danger was real and it wasn't a prank.
Gah! Didn't anyone ever tell you to go easy on an ex-serviceman? Yes, the Hat One miracle was really a desperate battle against an act of sabotage. I even lost the life of one of my staff members in the fight.
That has to be the woman in the far right of that photo. Okay. Sabotage, murder. So this is the ugly truth behind the Hat One miracle.
I let my guard down. I thought the saboteur had been caught and that the case was closed.
Huh? Wait a minute. The murder at the Space Center 7 years ago. This must be the person Director Cosmos thought was the culprit. Uh-huh.
Take that!
Simon Blackquill, the murder suspect in a case that happened here 7 years ago. The place and time of the two incidents, the murder and the sabotage, were the same. So you thought he committed both crimes. But while Prosecutor Blackquill was behind bars, you got another threatening call. If the culprit this time is the same as 7 years ago, then it isn't Simon Blackquill. Realizing that, you were shaken. It meant the true culprit's been running free all this time.
Yeah. How do you keep seeing straight through me?
Unlock successful. Yeah. Now tell the truth. The reason why Director Cosmos won't talk about why he switched the launch pads is connected to the truth behind the Hat One miracle. The sabotage and murder that happened at the Space Center 7 years ago. Director Cosmos, tell us what you're hiding.
If you really want to understand the reason I decided to switch the launch pads, we'll have to start with the story of that horrible nightmare from 7 years ago.
7 years ago? You mean the so-called Hat One miracle?
The launch went smoothly, but once the ship entered outer space, then the troubles began. It was all the handiwork of a certain person and their evil scheme.
So Mr. Starbuck's traumatic experience wasn't accidental.
Not only that, but before the launch, a very valuable piece of moon rock was stolen. But that wasn't the worst of it. One of my staff members was murdered.
Wow, I had no idea such awful events were behind that exciting story of space heroism.
All that in spite of the Space Center having very strict security in those days. All personal effects were examined thoroughly, coming or going. You couldn't even smuggle a withered old leaf through those checkpoints.
That is frighteningly specific. Okay. So, do you have any clue who was responsible for the sabotage?
At the very least, I know it wasn't Simon Blackquill. I don't know enough to identify the true culprit, but it's clear what that person is. To put it simply, a spy.
A spy? You mean somebody who infiltrates a foreign country? Carries out dangerous missions and always gets the girl? Someone's watching way too many late-night movies. Well, I guess if we're talking about blowing up a rocket and stealing research material, it's not all that surprising that a spy could be behind it all. Huh.
Make no mistake, there's cutthroat rivalry between nations in the space R&D race. Some try to outdo others by any means possible, even deliberate obstruction. 7 years ago, we got a call before the launch warning us of sabotage.
The same MO as this time.
Yes, and here I thought the perpetrator had been caught, but it looks like I was wrong.
Prosecutor Blackquill seems more like a ninja than a spy, don't you think? I was gonna say samurai. Aren't ninjas and spies basically the same thing? No? Not really.
But there's a good reason we failed to find the real spy. A massive cover-up by the government. Government officials were too embarrassed to admit that they had allowed such a thing to happen at the hands of a spy.
Don't tell me they made the police rush the investigation.
They did indeed. And then, to cover up the sabotage, they cleaned up the story.
And that was the Hat 1 miracle, wasn't it? But then, 7 years later, the same MO. Advance warning of sabotage. That must have been the director's reason for switching the launch pads. Huh. I wonder what nation is responsible. 7 years ago, the spy gave you advance warning of their plans, just like this time. That was what made you decide to switch the launch pads, wasn't it?
That's right. The Color knew the facts of the case 7 years ago despite the cover-up. They knew about the sabotage, the moon rock, the murder, and they said, "You don't want things to go like they did 7 years ago, do you?" I immediately thought of calling off the launch, but the government wouldn't let me. We don't give in to the likes of terrorists. We must proceed for our country's honor. It was quite a moving speech, actually.
Moving? Really? Maybe if you're easily inspired by political talking points.
But I knew the truth. We had been warned, which meant that the danger was very real. And I knew there was no way to stop the spy. No matter what I did, they would find a way. That's why I switched the launch pads and staged the moving rescue scene. First, I snuck into the center the night before and switched the launch pads. That way, the astronauts would go from boarding lounge 1 to the Space Museum. Then, I put a closed for repair sign at the door to launch pad 1 and boarding lounge 2.
You did that so normal visitors wouldn't enter, right? What else did you do?
I enlisted the help of several staff members, including Taryn.
But you didn't let Mr. Starbuck in on it.
He'd already been through enough, and he is no good at lying to keep a secret. I'm afraid I had no choice but to have him drugged. My plan went well until...
Clay's murder, huh?
After the culprit made their escape, I switched the launch pads back. I did it in such a way that no one would find out. But after all that effort, Terran is dead, and the Hat 2 is destroyed. And the Hope capsule, which had returned to us only recently, was also lost in that blast. My home, the center of the cosmos, my beautiful Cosmos Space Center is done for.
Wait, what did he mean by the Hope capsule was lost in that blast? Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. Wasn't it recovered? I thought that the Hope capsule was found at the crime scene with Mr. Terran. It had just been brought back by the Hope space probe with asteroid samples inside. So what kind of samples are they? What's in them?
The samples are scheduled for analysis in the near future. We haven't had time since they just came back the day before Terran's murder. The capsule was being held in a safe Launchpad 1. But I gave it to Terran before the incident so it wouldn't be destroyed in the explosion. The idea was that, with it safely in Terran's possession, he could make it look like he rescued it during the staged miraculous escape. But our precious research materials ended up lost to that explosion anyway.
But I thought Clay was supposed to keep it safe.
You misunderstand. The Launchpad explosion wasn't the one the capsule was lost to. It was lost after the police confiscated it as evidence. It was the courtroom bombing from the other day. The capsule was there in the courtroom as evidence and was blown to smithereens.
Oh. Yet another casualty of that blast.
Ultimately, I think the culprit may have known about the switching of the launch pads.
What? How?
The police found a wiretapping device during their investigation today. A bug aboard my battleship, a tap on my advanced communication system.
A wire on that phone?
Yes, a wire on this very phone. I used this phone to give instructions to my staff about the launchpad switch. Just to the few select members who knew about the plan. Just before the incident, staff members were coming in and out of Launchpad 1. The culprit probably slipped in with them amid the confusion.
And planted the bomb then. Yes, if they were tapping your phone, they definitely could pull something like that off. So you really think the same spy is behind this incident and the one 7 years ago?
Yes, I'm sure of it.
Then this spy must be the phantom Prosecutor Blackwell has been chasing.
But Prosecutor Blackwell told me once, the hunt I've been on for the phantom of 7 years past continues even still. For starters, that case happened right here at this very Space Center too.
So if we can find this phantom... That's right. We can clear Athena's name. And then there's the matter of Prosecutor Blackwell too. What about him? Well, if the culprit of 7 years ago is the same person as in the current incident, it would mean Prosecutor Blackwell is innocent. That's still an if, though. I wonder how dangerous that guy would be in court without handcuffs. But if we're going on a ghost hunt, count me in.
It's all over for me. Spin, spin, whirl, whirl, I'm done for. The center of the cosmos is doomed.
Do you think he's going to be all right, Daddy? Well, at least he'll be in good company. There must be planets out there he can spin with. Which reminds me, I'd like to delve a little deeper into the Hat One mission too.
If you want to learn more, start with the Space Museum. There's a Hat One exhibit there. Oh, don't mind me. I'll just keep spinning here and see how the cosmos unfolds.
It's like he achieved spiritual enlightenment or something. I'm sure he'll stop when he gets dizzy. Let's go visit the Space Museum. Oh, he's gonna carry that weight. Let's see. Where's the exhibit on the launch 7 years ago? There, that's the Hat One exhibit. Oh, wow! Look at that photo of the team! There's Clay and Mr. Starbuck, Director Cosmos, Ara Blackquill, and even Ponko. But I've never seen the woman on the right before. Everybody looks so happy! Well, except for Director Cosmos. Let's check out the newspaper article too. Hat One launch imminent, and there's a photo of the Hope space probe. Oh, wow. That blue-hilted katana. Didn't we see that in the anime intro of this case just earlier? It's the one that we saw Blackquill holding, as it was covered in blood. Huh. I guess it's only natural it doesn't talk about the murder or their sabotage. They really were keeping it a secret, just like the director said. Daddy, take a look at that jacket. Must be the Hat One team's uniform jacket. It's the same design as the one Apollo was wearing and the one that belonged to Clay. Actual jacket worn by a Hat One team member, it says. Not a replica, huh? I wonder if it was Mr. Starbuck's. I don't know how you'd explain the big tear on it. Hello? Whomstiv? Junie! Good God, you keep popping up now, don't you? Oh, Miss Woods, what brings you here? I heard Thena got arrested, so I've been looking for you, Mr. Wright. I thought you might be in here, at the scene. You must be so worried, but rest assured, I'm going to do my very best to defend her. Thena's going through such a hard time. Hope she doesn't lose heart. Even just coming back to this place must have been really difficult for her. Uh-huh? You mean the Cosmos Space Center? What, you didn't know? She used to live here when she was a little girl. Uh-huh, it's all coming together. She did? No, I didn't know. No wonder she knew so much. Miss Woods, could you tell me more, in detail? Well, this is interesting. And it's good to see Juniper again. This is like the third case in this game she's been in. That's crazy. Huh. I'm very sorry, but I don't know anything about that. Ah, okay, sorry to bother you. I guess she doesn't have leads on that. The knife. The pamphlet? Yeah, I don't think she has anything to say. Nope. Okay. Thena's mom worked here. I nailed it. I got it. It was her. Yep. That's her, of course. If I remember right, she was a doctor of psychology or something like that. But why was a psychology specialist working at a space research facility? I don't really know. But I do know that she lived and worked here, so Athena lived here too. So it's far from Athena's first time here. I wonder why she didn't mention it. She probably didn't want to talk about it. This place is connected to a very sad memory for her. A sad memory? Can you tell me about it? There was a terrible incident here. It was 7 years ago. The same time frame as the Hat 1 launch. Athena's mom, in the robotics lab. She was murdered. What? After it happened, Athena stopped coming to school. Poor Athena. And all this time, she never let on at all. I was so worried about her. I came here so many times hoping to see her. But I never saw her again. After a while, we started exchanging letters. But I didn't get to see her face to face for 7 long years. And so the first time you'd seen her in 7 years was during Professor Court's case. That's right. And I was so surprised. She was like a completely different person, so cheerful and happy. What was Athena like as a child? She was very sensitive and kind. She didn't talk very much. She liked to draw and paint at home. That's completely different from the Athena we know now. I can't even picture it. She never left the Space Center much because she was very sensitive to other people's emotions. When she went to crowded places, she'd get dizzy from all the emotions flying around. It must be hard to hear people's hearts as well as their voices. She always wore these big, heavy-looking headphones. She said her mother made them for her as part of her research. Huh. I wonder what kind of research it was. Because of her special ability, Athena couldn't handle being in school very often. And I was always out sick because of my weak constitution. Maybe that's why we became such good friends. We used to play together here at the Space Center a lot. It brings back memories. Sounds like Athena's mother played a big role here at the Space Center. Oh, Daddy, show her that picture. That a girl? Good idea. That one, right? Miss Woods, could you take a look at this for me? Oh, look, there's Athena's mom. The woman on the far right, the one in the kimono. That's Dr. Metis Sykes. Metis. Why does that... there's some Greek connection there. Huh. Athena's mother's murder. Did it by any chance have any connection to the Hat 1 launch? What? Why, yes, it did. As I recall, it happened on the day before the launch. Just as I suspected.
But that wasn't the worst of it. One of my staff members was murdered.
So this is the murder Director Cosmos was talking about. Does that mean that the crime Prosecutor Blackwell was convicted of is the murder of Athena's mother?
Dude, I called this from like case 2.
There's a chance her death is somehow connected to the current case. There is? Thank you for all your help, Miss Woods, and please try not to worry. I won't let anything happen to Athena. Thank you, Mr. Wright. I know you'll take good care of her. So we need to investigate the robotics lab and also talk to Athena. We've got our plates full, Daddy. Hope we can fit it all in before the day is through. The detention center first, then. We have to see Athena before visiting hours are over. I was wanting to check in a bit with Starbuck, but this is fine.
Well, if it isn't Mr. Lawyer, fancy meeting you here.
Oh, hello, Detective Fulbright. Here on business?
To tell the truth, I'm here to interview Ted Tonate.
The one behind the courtroom bombing incident?
He suddenly said he's ready to tell the truth about that case. And what he was saying was so incredible, I just had to come right over to hear more.
Incredible? What was he saying?
Why don't you hang around here and hear it for yourself?
Really? Us? Are you sure?
Ha ha ha! I give you my special permission. Here comes the bomber now.
Really? You, what nerve you have to come here? You're here to laugh at me, I suppose? Like I'd waste my breath on you. After all, you're the one who assaulted Apollo and put him in the hospital. Violence, no. Question, okay. No violence? Too bad Apollo didn't get a chance to say that before you attacked him. Fine. Just answer me this, Mr. Tonate. What is this truth of yours about the courtroom you blew up? No, I didn't do it. I didn't blow up the courtroom. When I killed Detective Arm, there was another person in the room. What are you talking about? Who else could have been there? I saw it, I tell you. I saw someone's hand as they were stealing the remote switch. This person was there and witnessed the murder I committed. What? I don't know who it was. But that's who blew up the courtroom. You expect us to buy that? Easy there, Trucy. I don't see any Cyclocks, so I guess he must not be lying. Pardon me, I got a little carried away. But I'm telling you the truth, I do not detonate that bomb.
And there you have it. We can't exactly ignore his claims, of course, so we're doing a follow-up. We're even analyzing the bomb itself, or what's left of it.
What the fuck? Hello, okay, so item 7K there, that little rock with the yellow stripe pattern, that was on display in the Space Museum in the article. It's right there. Whoa! Okay. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, I feel the electricity in the air. What does it mean? Oh my god. This is some good shit. Okay.
We haven't found any new facts yet, though.
Wow. They've laid it all out piece by piece. Oh, look at all those beautiful little pieces. I wish I could have them.
Uh-oh, looks like his geek switch has been activated.
Phony Fanty bomb added to the court record. Never thought I'd see that again. Wow.
Well, I hope you're ready for Prosecutor Blackwell's special brand of questioning.
Anything but that.
Off he goes. I'm afraid I have to be off now, too. I was just about to question Miss Sykes.
You're going to see Athena now?
That's right. Oh, did you folks come to see her? Sorry for the trouble, but could you come back later? Well, off I go.
What bad timing. Looks like we'll have to wait until after her questioning is over to see her. And after we came all this way, too. Well, I guess it's back to the Space Center. Let's go check out the robotics lab, Daddy. Alright, sounds like a plan. Yeah, I guess we can head there. Unless... he's still here. Can I show you something here? The Hat 1 mission experienced one crisis after another. It was almost like space itself was rejecting our efforts. That's what it felt like, anyway. But in the end, the mission was a success. Yeah, people call it a miracle. But I think it was us who made it work somehow, through sheer will and hope. A miracle through sheer will, huh? I think I know what he means all too well. Alright. You know, I think it can wait. Let's just end things here. So the robotics lab, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where, Ara Blackquill spends most of her days. She does seem to be the robotics expert. Oh, wow. So... let's be real. If there's a spy, there's literally only one person it could be. I mean, so... Clay's dead, at the hands of this spy, most likely. Terran is clearly innocent, as is Director Cosmos. Mita Sykes is dead. So that leaves just one person, that's right, one nefarious mastermind behind it all. Ponko. I mean, Ara. Yeah, let's be real, all suspicions on her. From where she's standing, the evidence is not lining up in her favor exactly. So until further notice, yeah, I'm considering Ara Blackquill to be my suspect numero uno. And odds are definitely pretty damn high that she fiddled with the memories of the robots, maybe made them complicit in it and helped her. She engineered them to do that, then removed the memory. I could see that being the case. I don't think we actually know what the deal is with, these bandages on Ponko here. Huh. Well, I will say it is always the mark of a really good story when you can foresee and guess the plot twists that come in the future. The revelations, the secrets, you can feel it. Right from case 2, I was thinking, oh, Simon probably killed Athena's mother or father, or both. I said that. You can go back and look. I know I said it in case 2. Maybe even earlier. No, the first case was Gasp in Pain, wasn't it? Or was it Winston? One of the Payne brothers. Yeah, it must have been case 2 then. And hell, I think at one point I was in like, okay, if I were writing this story, I would have it be that Blackquill was framed, and the final trial, the final case would be about absolving his crime and getting his name cleared. The Ace Attorney series just loves digging up incidents from nearly a decade in the past and getting these suspects who've run free behind bars. It's just par for the course, really. So yes, even though I saw this coming, I'm just very happy about it. It's so satisfying. This is how I wanted things to be, you know? Oh, Ace Attorney's so good. Oh my god, I cannot wait to see this case through. Oh, this is so good. Well, I guess that's it then. I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more Dual Destinies. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.